very straightforward. Got a power button. Over here you got your steam nozzle. Here is the knob that releases the steam. You want to make sure it's closed. You're gonna open up the top. If I can do it without spilling my espresso there. I already measured for a double shot of espresso. You just pour in your water. It's best if it's cold. You want your espresso grounds to be nice fine grounds, not a nice thick ground that you would use for making coffee. You want to firmly press your grounds in. You can actually buy a tamp like this from Amazon if your machine doesn't come with one. Pop that up there. Put your carafe down underneath. I have a pitcher that actually measures the milk. If you see down there in the side, it's got measurements in there. This is actually a smaller pitcher than I would typically use, but it works. So you get your milk ready, you pour your water in, you put your grounds in, put your pot under, you turn it on. Now some machines will have a knob on one side or the other, and it'll turn it one way to actually start pulling the espresso. You want to do that step first because that's going to build up the pressure and the steam. The steam is what you need for your milk. But as soon as your espresso starts to pull, you would then turn it to the steam. Or in my case, I'm just going to put this little black knob off the steam nozzle down into the milk, and then you just open your steam nozzle. So I don't know if you can actually see down there or not. I'm just waiting for this espresso to start up. All right. You can typically hear it. Yes, coffee is making coffee. All right, so now that it's got espresso pulling down there, all right, now you're just going to open your steam valve. Hello, Cupid's touch. Now, I usually hold the pitcher by the bottom because you'll actually feel it warming up. Because obviously you want warm milk and not cold milk. Now, if you wanted an iced latte, you could actually just skip the steaming step altogether. So you don't have to steam it. I have me a nice swirly spoon like this. The handle is swirled. If you're using a taller cup, that'll actually help you get everything mixed in together if you need to mix anything in. So you can add flavor in to your milk beforehand. I just forgot to do that. So, hello, Spen, welcome. So the other thing, when you're pulling the espresso, once you think it's done here, sometimes it'll kick in and it'll catch a second wave. So if you want to make sure that you're done, you just stick your milk back under and open the steam valve, and you'll hear it fizzle out. Because the thing is, you don't want to leave the steam built up. If you're not going to take your machine apart right away, it's not a big deal. The steam will dissipate as it cools down. But right now, because there's steam built up in here, if I tried to take this off, the pressure would actually explode from here. So you don't want to try to take the grounds basket off until it's cooled down or until you've opened the steam valve and released the pressure. So I have 2 cups here because a lot of people don't know the difference. So you have a latte and you have a macchiato. So a latte is going to be a little bit of espresso and your milk with all that foam held back. And the milk will actually mix with the espresso as you pour it. But then a macchiato, what you're going to do is you're going to pour your milk, which I didn't get enough milk. I'll have to steam some more, but what you would do is then just pour the espresso on top, and you'll actually see that while it mixes some, you'll actually see that it just sits right on top. If I had more milk, it would show it better, but the espresso will actually sit on top. You then actually have to stir it to get it to mix up. And that, folks, is how we make espresso. Thanks for stopping in and watching.